Welcome to a special edition of Sister Scoop. And it wasn't going to be a special edition until about 6 hours ago because Marvel decided to drop possibly only one half of the Doomsday cast over about 5.5 hours. It was kind of crazy.
It's been a crazy day.
It was a very long day. I didn't even know it was happening until halfway through it. There's just so much going on. I mean, maybe there was an announcement. Clearly I missed it. Regardless,
I remember seeing that there was going to be, there was a rumor that there was going to be a big announcement today, but those are only 50% right. So I just didn't put much stock in it. And I was like, I'll just check, Instagram throughout the day. And I happened to look at one point and I was like, So I sent it to Kate. And it was weird because the first one I saw was Chris Hemsworth, and which I think was the first one.
I was
like, that is such a odd choice to because I didn't see any of the others because of the way that my timeline was. And so I was like, weird that they're focusing on him. He's great. He's an OG Avenger, but it's so weird that they put their whole marketing behind
weird
Chris
that they're
Hemsworth.
just only announcing Chris. What?
Yeah, okay, Thor's gonna be in it. That's great. But I'm so confused. And then I was going through and I was I went on the actual page and I saw there were 10 others and I was like, oh, now it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing for me was I don't even remember the one I saw first, but it wasn't the one you sent me because I had seen that you DM'd me, but I was like, oh, I'm in the middle of something. And when I had logged on, the first one I saw was somebody I was shocked to see. It wasn't your Anthony Mackie or something of that, one of those people. It was one of our newer guys. No, wait. The first one I saw was the mutants. It was Patrick Stewart. And I was like, what is happening? Hold up. So I sent it to you, but then I went to your messages and I was like, oh, she already sent it, just to see that it was Chris. And that's when I realized they were releasing them the way they were. So that's when I went back and I was like, wait. So then literally from that moment on, I realized the cadence was roughly every 13 to 15 minutes. So when it would hit that part, I'd refresh and I just left it open. So I'd be like, work. Okay, wait, it's been about 13 minutes. Refresh. And that's how I watched the rest of it. But I was like, what is happening right now? I just my normal Wednesday blew up so quickly.
Yeah, I literally just took a break. I was eating lunch and I was like, let me just check Instagram. And then I did not go on my phone for 3 hours. And she's calling me and I'm like, I am working.
I was like, you don't understand. Well, because the other thing was I saw you when I realized you sent me the Chris one and I went in, I thought she only saw the first one. So then I'm thinking she didn't realize the rest of these and all these announcements are coming out. So I'm like, dude, you don't understand. You need to check your phone. I'm like, they're just and especially once I realized the whole mutant line, I was like, she doesn't know. I was like, she doesn't know. She would.
That was after I had looked, and then I set my phone down on. Well, that's why I was disturb.
I know she would have sent it to me if she would have seen the mutants, and she said nothing. She just casually sent me the Chris reel. That was it. You didn't even say anything. You literally had no words to it. So I was like, there's no way she knows.
I was like, the same thing that she does for me for Sister Scoop. If it's if we're going to send each other ideas, we DM each other things that we see that we're okay, we should talk about this in Sister Scoop. So I didn't realize the full scope of it at that point. So I was just sending it to you as we should watch this, whatever, we should collect this and swap this out for one of the things we were originally going to talk about. And so that was why I didn't put anything, because I was like, oh, she's going to understand the context. We're recording later. This is totally. And then it just got way bigger, as I put my phone down, got way bigger than I think I ever expected. But now that you know the whole history of how our afternoon went, let's actually read out these names and then we'll talk a little bit about our feelings about all of this. So I'm going to go through the list. We've got Chris Hemsworth, Vanessa Kirby, Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan, Letitia Wright, Paul Rudd, Wyatt Russell, Tena Huerta Mejia. No, I'm saying that in the wrong. It's really small on my screen. Yeah, Mejia. Sorry, folks. I don't have my glasses on. Ibn Mas Bakrak, Simu Liu, Florence Pugh, Kelsey Grammer, Louis Pullman, Danny Ramirez, Joseph Quinn, David Harbour, Winston Duke, Hannah John Kamen, again, really should have put my glasses on, Tom Hiddleston, Patrick Stewart, Ian McClellan, Alan Cumming, Rebecca Romaine, James Marsden, Channing Tatum, Pedro Pascal, and Robert Downey Jr.
Okay, so let's just start at the top. Chris was not a shock. Chris shouldn't have been shocked to anybody.
No.
I mean, we know Thor 5 is going to happen. Like,
that's why when he was the only one I saw, I was like, you went with the marketing on the guy we all knew was going to be in this.
Yeah, I mean, fair. But he was a smart choice to start, right? Like,
Yeah.
out of this grouping, he's the only OG. And I say that because the rumor is this is only the first half of the confirmed actors and actresses. And we'll get to that in a second. Then obviously Vanessa Kirby. I don't know how they decided to put these either because I was really thrown off.
It was so
we
weird.
have Sue Storm.
Yeah.
Like, but then we wait a while and you don't get any of the rest of the Fantastic Four. And then you do, like, they're just like sprinkled in. There's no rhyme or reason to this.
Yeah.
I do love that they put Anthony and Seb together.
Yes, of course.
I deeply hearted that in my own mind. But also it was like, that means Sebastian's not dying in Thunderbolts to all you haters. Back up. I wasn't shocked to see obviously our Black Panther, Letitia.
Yeah.
I wasn't shocked. Paul, not shocked. Ant-Man, US Agent, little shocked.
Well, they're all on there.
Oh,
Every single Thunderbolt is on there.
Well, we're missing one, technically, but everybody already thinks she's gonna die pretty early.
Who? Oh,
Taskmaster. Yeah.
Oh, I hope she doesn't die. I would actually really like to explore her more.
If you look at the marketing, though, of the movie, like, she's only in, like, 2 clips. And she's not in any of the group shots. So, like, everybody's like, we don't really think she's making it. So I'm not entirely shocked she's not there. But I was shocked to see that the US Agent got... No, I wasn't shocked to see Ghost. I was shocked to see US Agent.
Oh, I mean, I think he was like, I had already seen some of the other Thunderbolts. So when I saw him, I was like, interesting, but also the rest of his team is there. So like, they clearly were like, Fantastic Four, you're a team. Mutants will get there, but like, mutants, you're a team. Like, Thunderbolts, you're a team. Random other Avengers who like need to be a team, but aren't yet, you're a team. Like, you know?
Fair. But the other one that really threw me off was Namor.
Yeah.
I was like, what's he doing here?
But also, like, he has such a history with the Fantastic Four that I was like, that also makes sense. Like, they're clearly going to go a little more comic accurate in that. I mean, I'm hoping that's what this indicates is like, they're going to play up some of those relationships that, you know, because of the rights at different points in time were a little bit in question. But I love that because, like, there's some serious, like, relationship wonky stuff going on in the comics, and I don't know to what level they're going to explore that, but the fact that they're all going to be sharing the screen, I'm happy.
I'm not mad. It just threw me off because I was like, out of everybody else here, you don't really have a group. You don't even have a partner. Like, obviously, we can put Black Panther and M'Baku together.
Yeah.
And they've also been involved with some of these other people over the years versus, like, Namor's the only one that stands out to me that I'm like, you don't even have a friend. Like, you don't have a buddy.
He is technically a mutant, so he belongs with the X-Men.
That's true.
Yeah, confirmed.
I forgot about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have our next Fantastic Four member, The Thing. Okay. These are not shocking. Shang-Chi, not shocking. Our Black Widow, Florence Pugh. Again, you said it already. Also, I would have expected her to be in it.
Yeah.
Kelsey Grammer was the first one that was like, I'm thrown off. Because I was like, the Beast? Like, why is Beast our OG? What? And then it was so funny because they only said him. And then we just kept going. Like, that,
like tiny breadcrumb.
It's almost like, in my opinion, somebody messed up the order slightly because notice how the rest of the mutants all happened together at the end. So I was like, did somebody accidentally post his and not mean to?
But to be fair, he's the only one who's reprised his role in the last 15 years.
Which I thought of, and I did. That was kind of my other reasoning, but I still was like, you could have at least put him back with the rest of his group. Because I do think as soon as I saw him, I was also, well, and granted, I'd already seen Patrick Stewart, who also reprised his role.
Oh, true. I forgot about that. MON, because he got dead. He was dead.
So he was actually that was horrible. Dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
But to be fair, like, I still was like, why couldn't you, like, group him with the rest of the mutants? Because I think that was your first, like, anybody watching this, whoever was watching the, like, full live stream, go you, because that was 5.5 hours of you just watching this pop up. But, like, I couldn't imagine the whole, like, you see him and then it's just back to business as usual. So that threw me off. Also, I forgot this is to the next person. I forgot Lewis Pullman, like who he was playing. I had to literally look him up because, to be fair, we haven't seen him yet.
Yeah.
So I was like, I recognize this name. Why don't I know who this is? So obviously we know Sentry's making it out of Thunderbolts as well. Is going to be a reoccurring
not shocking.
character. Yeah. I was a little shocked that our new Falcon was going to be here, only because this is such a high level movie. I wasn't sure they were going to be ready for him.
But I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I thought he killed it in that movie. I love that he brings like a very similar energy that Mackie did to that role.
Yes.
And I love it. I mean, we're going to get another Cap Falcon duo. Falcon was in every Avengers movie like after, well, he was in the two big ones. So I'm not surprised that they brought this Falcon in, you know.
And he was in Age of Ultron.
Yeah, true. But at least like we're so familiar with at least the mantle now that like there's so many years of history that I'm like, okay, cool, it's a different guy for sure. Like I don't want to make it seem like that's not a change, but at least the mantle has been involved in so many big things, and Mackie himself said he leveled up at the end of this movie. So I'm here for it. I love it.
Yeah, he threw me off a little bit. I won't lie, because I didn't know if they were going to have him play with the big leagues yet, but they clearly are.
Yeah.
Then third member, Fantastic Four, Human Torch. I got thrown off because I forgot this wasn't Stranger Things for a hot sec when I saw his name, and I was like, wait. And speaking of Stranger Things, we have Red Guardian, David Arbor. Not shocked. Winston Duke was shocked. M'Baku threw me off.
Because I love him, and he's been in the other big movies. Like, he was in Infinity War and Endgame, obviously. But, like, I think what throws me off about M'Baku, and, like, I also need to revisit Black Panther too, but he doesn't really have, like, a mantle. He's just, like, M'Baku, king. Like, he is king now.
Yes, they split that role. So that is why I was thrown off he was in this, because of that exact reason. He is now the king of Wakanda because Shuri didn't want that position. She wanted to remain the Black Panther. But I also was like, okay, what does that mean? Because he's kind of taking, obviously they are sharing the responsibilities that T'Challa had, but he's taking the king mantle head. And that's also important when you think about the big battle in Infinity War happened in Wakanda. So thinking of that kind of stuff, I'm like, I wonder if that's how he gets brought in a little bit more rather than he's actively there fighting. Though he likes a good fight.
Or it's their tech. Yes. Because that opens a lot. I mean, we know Sam uses it actively in his suit. We saw that. And honestly, if anybody's going to crack multiversal travel from our side, it's the Wakandans. So, just putting that out there too.
True. Then we have another Thunderbolt Ghost. This one I know excited both of us. Mr. Tom Hiddleston, stop lying. My God. I think I'm done with the role. I've said my piece. I did what I wanted to with Loki. You are such a liar.
Girl, you are the god of stories, and you thought you weren't going to be in the big old multiversal film? Sweetheart.
I can't. Honestly, when I saw his name, like, I was actually shocked because I think it's one of those things you think about so much, and then you're like, nah. You watch, like you watch him be right. Like, he has a wife, he has a child, he's doing his own thing right now. Like, I'm like, you watch. Honestly, watch him be correct.
As much as we crapped on Loki, I'm so happy that this basically confirms that Loki is going to finally fold into the rest of the universe, and like we're going like. As much as we, had issues with some of the plot stuff within the show itself, I think our biggest qualm has always been that we don't know what the ramifications of that show actually were in the multiverse and like the larger universe. And the fact that his mere presence indicates that we're going to get an understanding of what that actually means. That was honestly, like, obviously I love Tom Hiddleston, like, greatest, one of the greatest castings in the MCU. But beyond that, from a character perspective, that's when I was like, finally. It's been 4 years. It'll be 5 years by the time this film comes out, and we're finally getting an answer. Like, thank God.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I am excited for that hopeful crossover. Not even hopeful, finally. But also Thor and Loki, if you do not put them on the screen together.
Yeah, I will actually riot. Like,
there'll be violence.
Yeah.
But then we got into the fun stuff. We had our big guys. I mean, you're coming in with Professor X and Magneto right off the bat. You knew crap was going to hit the fan.
Yeah.
And then some interesting ones coming back. Nightcrawler coming back. Mystique
Mhm.
coming back. Okay.
Mhm.
Both OGs.
Yep.
I lost it a little bit at Cyclops returning. I won't lie.
We
That's very
love
exciting.
that. Yes.
I do. And then we all know I wasn't calm for this because I
No.
actually posted it on our story, like my live reaction to it. And I was like crying because Channing Tatum is coming back as Gambit.
I mean,
I,
what a
I
story
don't have
about
words.
what a story about shooting your shot and then like actually nailing it. Like the man literally was like, I want this. It has been taken from me. You're going to give me this cute little, he probably had what, 10 minutes of screen time. And he was like, I will take my 10 minutes and raise you a new appearance because I just absolutely captured all the hearts.
Listen, this man became a meme that in
Yeah.
itself. Like
Yeah.
I was so happy. I was honestly in that moment just so proud because the other thing is like we've talked about the recasting. We've talked about the next generation of mutants that Marvel's going to do. And they're still going to do it. Like that's
Mhm.
not I love seeing these guys coming back, but they're not going to play these roles again. Like beyond for another 10, 15 years. It's not going to happen. So if Channing was going to have the opportunity to come back, play Gambit one more time, or maybe 2 more times or whatever, it was these movies because we will see another Gambit when they decide to do our version of the mutants. I was so happy that he got this opportunity. I just am like, and obviously anytime I see Gambit on the big screen just brings me like absolute pure joy. So that one actually shocked me. And this was at the point, obviously this was towards the end, but this was at the point where I was like actively refreshing. So when that one came on, I screamed in my apartment. I was like, oh my God, like I don't understand. But then we wrapped up with our last Fantastic Four member and Taylor's favorite, Pedro Pascal. And that was the end
Knew
of
it
it
was
until
coming.
RDJ came.
Yes. And I want to say, I mean, as much as I knew Pedro was coming, I was just like waiting. I was like, one, they're not going to put all the Fantastic Four minus Reed Richards. Like, okay.
Could you imagine?
I would like, I would not be okay. Like, yeah. There are not words for the actions that I would take in that particular scenario.
Fair.
Anyway. But I love that they ended with Reed Richards and Dr. Doom. And that's why I think I am less nervous about this than I was because I know they've talked a lot about, you know, we're going to pull from the 2017 version, we're going to pull from the 1980s version, but there have been a lot of rumors floating around that they're going to, you know, minimize the Doom Richards relationship because of all of the hoopla and how things have been moved around. But that is the core of especially the 2017 version, right? It's like he literally steals Reed Richards' life down to his children and his wife. Like it's not subtle, the hatred between. So like the fact that they're ending with Reed and Doom signifies to me that that relationship is going to be at the center of these two films as it should be, and that makes me much less nervous, much more excited, and hopefully there's more announcements to come.
Yeah, and really quick, because we have to cover it. Speaking of more announcements, there are a lot of people missing from this list.
Yeah.
And that's why, as I was actively refreshing and nobody came up after Pedro, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll name a few honorable mentions that are not on this list that I can think of off the top of my head that I was very thrown off with. We don't have a Spider-Man. We don't have any of the Spider-Men just because that clearly it's a possibility that anybody can come back right now. We don't have any Spider-Man. We don't have our very own Carol Danvers, our Captain Marvel. We don't have Miss Marvel. Obviously, I know Monica is kind of in a weird, but clearly she's in the mutant universe, so we don't have her.
With him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So where's Photon? Hello.
Right. So we're missing the Marvels, that whole grouping. We're missing any of the Hulks. We don't have She-Hulk. We don't have Bruce Banner. We don't have a Hawkeye, either of them.
Oh, true.
Those are just off the top of my head. Do you have any that we're missing?
I think that covers the ones that I was like notably absent.
Well, I will say, and I think she's wrong, but I'll listen to my mother. Elizabeth Olsen says she won't be in this movie. However, we'll see.
I don't know how I feel about that one.
We'll see. Regardless, not on the list.
Well, none of her children, her husband. That opens that whole arena. Agatha, even though
Right.
she's in ghost form.
Well, and that's
Jen.
the thing. Think about some of these people. That's what I'm thinking of. Even I thought of like, well, Daredevil.
No. Deadpool. No. Wolverine. No. I just thought of someone. Oh, none of the folks from the Guardians. We've got
Oh, that's a good point.
no Werewolf by Night, no Moon Knight. Now I'm starting to think back to like 2022 and all this
Well, that's
stuff.
what I'm saying. Like, as we go further back and I think about who's
Yeah.
been introduced to us, I'm starting to see a lot more holes.
No
as
Riri
well.
Williams, who's coming
Yeah.
up, but was already introduced in 2022. Yeah. I mean, and then you think about moving forward, like we're getting Wonder Man at the end of the year. Not on the list.
Well, here's a big one that we didn't name. No Stephen Strange.
Oh, yeah. You know, kind of important to Secret Wars. Just
No
a little
Stephen
bit. No
Strange.
Wong. No Wong, who is our Sorcerer Supreme.
We're missing the Benedicts.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
could even go the Ancient One, because depending on timelines and stuff, like there are dead characters who could come back. So
True.
are we talking the like Chris Cap? Are we talking OG Fantastic Four, even though we got a quarter of them already? We could go the Miles Teller route of the Fantastic Four. Look,
Please
if they're
don't.
if they're gonna give homage to everybody, they gotta give homage to everybody. And
Not
I'm just
everybody
saying-
needs it.
I'm just saying there's a lot of, you know, you could do Colossus, Teenage Negasonic
Yeah.
Warhead. Like, there's a lot of characters where if you really were like, we're gonna literally put the entire roster in this film, you didn't. Now, do
Well,
I
but
think they
even if you
should?
weren't-
No.
Well, even if you weren't, we missed a lot of big swingers. I mean, we named a lot of them. A lot of characters that were like, why aren't they there? So that's
Yeah.
also part of the reason I think people are leaning into this is only half. Because,
Clea would be a good one too.
well, that's what I mean. And,
Sorry, now I'm just gonna spout
no,
them out.
fair. But I think like even the ones that I feel like we should have there, we're definitely not seeing. I mean, the fact we don't have a single Spider-Man listed is weird.
And I've talked about this ad nauseum, but like Secret Wars, Miles and Peter meet each other. So like, yes, we've had that happen in the Spider-Verse films, but like this would be the opportunity to bring Miles into live action in like possibly the coolest way ever. And like, this is where I've been hanging my hat, though we've got no news on Beyond the Spider-Verse, which I try not to think about because that was supposed to come out this year and like probably isn't. But anyway, like that is like to me, a huge miss because it's a huge opportunity to have some of those like inter-Spider-Man relationships building, especially when it comes to Miles.
Yeah. Well, I think we should be looking for a second half. It's really the summary of this is I would assume that we should be looking for a second half. I think we're definitely missing a lot of characters that would be on the board because just guys, remember, this is not like, not that Infinity War was small by any means, but like they had the battle in Wakanda and then they failed and then there were the effects and the effects were global. I mean, the effects were universal, but like global for those on Earth. This is like not even universal. This is multiversal. Like this is a mega effect. So you would expect everybody who has any sort of ability to be involved. That is just kind of, that's the baseline. So to be missing some of these characters, I mean, especially like your Captain Marvel, you don't have your Captain Marvel on here. No Brie Larson, like
no Nick
that's
Fury.
Weird.
Nick Fury.
There you go. There you go. I think there's a second half coming, and so we have to wait. But this first half was so exciting.
Yeah. I mean, like Katie and I were talking about this before we logged on, and this is probably the best way to end it because we were saying if they already announced the OG X-Men, what is it that they're hiding? Like it's the same thing with Deadpool and Wolverine. When they were like showing, you know, Daphne Keane before the film, that's because she wanted to go to the premiere and like, girl, I get that, but like that was hilarious. But like,
she's
they were
like,
showing,
I just want to go to the movie premiere.
I know, I want to go, so you're gonna have to like reveal me ahead of time. But you know, if you were already showing what is her number? Now I'm totally blanking.
Oh, I don't remember right off the top of my head.
Anyway, you're already showing
X-23, right?
X-23. There we go. I knew it was like us. I get so bad with those numbers. But you're already showing X-23, and then like the actual cameos blew people out of the water, but we were already excited going in. Like, I'm expecting that to be kind of how this is. So, like, if you're already showing the OG X-Men, oh my God, what is coming that, like, we don't expect?
Exactly.
Like, that's the thing where it's gonna be, I mean, they did their job, because I am now so excited for this film that, like, I was very nervous / lukewarm, and now I'm, like, really counting down the days.
Well, I'm really excited too. And my last piece that I'll leave y'all with is this was also the official announcement that production has begun. So
Yes.
get ready. Doomsday is actively being worked on, and we're going to see it soon. So big day in the Marvel fandom. I know everybody's been talking about it. This has been a very special edition of Sister Scoop for that reason, because, I mean, my God, how can you not talk about it? But join us next week when we probably go back to the more mundane news.
I know,
and we
it's
cover
definitely
3
going
more
to pale in
topics.
comparison to this.
Yeah, it won't be as exciting. We'll go back to our 3 topics. But either way, join us next week for Sister Scoop. And also continue to keep up with the podcast as we're still covering Daredevil Born Again. See you guys.